this is almost wild that this gets to happen. And so I had to stand back and be like, what does California say about itself? What is the vibe? What is the feeling? What is the song of California? And so I said yes to this job. And then we all may remember that there was this global pandemic thing that happened. And because of that, we're all kind of stuck in our houses. I couldn't get into space for a while, so my sketchbook, which is always with me, was filled with drawings. What's gonna go in Gillis Hall? What's gonna be in here? I got to practice and really think about what was gonna go in here. As the beautiful article by Brittany states, the time that was given to me because of COVID allowed this piece to be layered and layered and layered and layered. Like any of these good books in here, there's a lot to a good story. And so, we'll start with this side over here. We're looking at Southern California over here. We're looking at the biomes of the high desert all the way to the ocean. We're looking at people playing music. When I was an undergrad, one of the most powerful classes I ever took was ethnomusicology. And that's the study of music through culture. I think music is the way you get to know people because it's the songs about themselves. So we have the beautiful range of people on the left playing music from all around the world. My dear old dad over here playing piano. What up, Dad? Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of people over here playing music to the world. I've got the ghetto blaster that we used to carry on our shoulders and dance on cardboard with. I've got my neighbors who are on the lowrider bicycle with California Today. I've got my friend BC who's on his guitar. I've got Geraldine who's somewhere playing VR. What's up, Geraldine? Over here, playing VR, the next generation of technology. Got Greg Lucas holding all the books. What up, Greg? I've got my friend Khaleesi, the cat with the cone on her head that she's on the book of Mice and Men and Cat in the Hat. I've got my mailman. We all, during COVID, relied upon our mailmen and our women to deliver those Amazon boxes day in and day out. What's up, mailman? Much love. I've got Mural Atala and her dear father. Mural was my undergrad roommate, and now she's a professor at Humboldt State. All of the drawings in the background are all Easter eggs, so you all come back and visit the library over and over again. One, to check out books, and two, to check out the mycelium that runs through these drawings. Now let's look over here. You can see around the windows, we've got Northern California, all of the counties within California. I painted it gold because it's the Golden State. But also I looked out the window of my hotel and there's that amazing golden bridge. It's like, wow, that's a nice touch to our mural. I'm glad they did that. And so California is such a golden space and it shines. I wanted you to look out the window at this amazing piece of architecture and see the shining state. So from the left over here, one of the biggest heroes of this piece on the left on the mural is Maggie Dewey, and she is an emergency room doctor. So during the whole painting of this, I would check in with her and be like, how's COVID doing? And she was always the most real person. So I wanted to have her as the local amazing doctor hero. These are her kids over here, and her husband's on the far left, Mike Dewey. So everyone who was in my life was in the piece. That's her twin sister in the wheelchair. Then I got my lovely partner, Tori, right? Where's Tori at?
Right here.
Yeah, Tori, what up? Yeah, so Tori, the Rivers over here. So Tori and her teaching partner, Celeste, I want to really showcase them as the teachers that kept the world's kids together during the pandemic. Wow, what heroes. I mean, let's give a round of applause to teachers. Thank you, man. So she's teaching her teaching partner, Celeste, and they're teaching across the window. You'll see on the lovely cusp of California is my dear daughter, Forest Stearns. And she's looking across at them. There she is with a giant smile right here. Yo, let's give it up to River. So she's sitting on the edge of California with this book, a lovely book called The Island of California, the story of the why California was called and named California. On the horses, those are my family horses, and my parents are here. Yo, Dad and my mom somewhere. Hey, love you. Yeah, those are our family horses. I grew up in Sonora, California, riding horses, and those are their horses. But I also have this weird dichotomy of a life where I wear a cowboy belt, but I also work in aerospace. I work in quantum science. So when Greg came to me and said, Forrest, let's make this mural about how fun and weird and funky California is, I was like, well, I'm gonna put an astronaut in it, a space cowboy. So I get to be the space cowboy in the piece, and I'm watching the teachers teach because I love learning. And then on the far right, we have my dear friend Ando Pendilian, and he's on a penny farthing bike that he calls Biggie Smalls. He's an Armenian, an immigrant, an amazing artist. I'm moving over here so I can see what this painting's all about. And then the next painting, this is also kind of a music side. But I wanted this music side to be about, here's how the people get together and kind of create rhythm. So one of the most amazing people in this mural, there's a lot of amazing people, is my dear friend Ann Bound Crawford, and she's in the house somewhere. Yeah! Ann Bound Crawford, she's going to make this happen. I love that when this mural opportunity came around, and Ann's like, hey Forrest, you want to do this? It's like, yeah, I'll do this, it sounds fun. I was like, if you'll be in it. And then so I said, Ann, what do you love to do? And I knew that she loves to play drums. Y'all might not know that about her, but she's a really amazing steel drum player. So I had to put a steel drum in there, kind of represent that we're all remixing with all the tools that are around us. And then I have some amazing gentlemen on the far right up here that are sitting like Brian Tripp and Franklin Thomas. Brian Tripp passed away this year, but I was able to take my computer to him when he was passing away and show him this piece. And we had tears together. And they're Native Americans from the Kurok tribe up on the Klamath River. And on his deathbed, we're crying together. I'm showing him pictures of the piece before we installed it. And he said, Forrest, thank you for representing our two Native American linguists here. Thanks for representing us as who we are. You know, we're Native Americans here, we're artists, but we're just like part of the crew. We're not romanticized, we're just part of the crew. So, you know, cheers to Brian Tripp. And then we have my friend Tiffany, who's over here on the far right, kind of tucked in, and she's representing, she is an advocate for disability. She got in a car wreck early on in her life with her dad. Her dad passed in the car wreck. And so she has her book in front of her that says Diversibility. That's her life's work. And I wanted to represent those of us in this room who are advocates for the arts, advocates for human rights. She's sitting in front of a bicycle that she named after her dad. It's the first bike. She's paralyzed in her arm. And she says, Forrest, you don't realize how hard it is for people with one arm in this world. So she's like, I couldn't ride a bike until I found this specific bike. So that's the bike she's leaning on, and it has the rabbit that was with her when she got in that accident. So there's so many stories that we can't go through right now, but it would bore all of you. But just while you look at this mural, and then looking at Maynard Dixon's piece, and looking at all of us around us, we all have our own rad individual stories. So I just want to say thank you all for being here, and thanks for listening to each other and picking each other up right now. So much respect to all of you. Thank you. Robin and Gilly, who are right here. Hey, Robin and Gilly. I just wanted to bring them up because they're the perpetual tourists. We got a lot of Californians here, but Robin and Gilly are up here in the matching blue and matching green shorts. They were in town, and I was like, I need to have you, dear friends, in my piece because you're always just showing up. So there they are. California relies on tourists, and so these are my dear friends, the perpetual tourists. So thank you for being here from Philadelphia. This took me a good 2 years. This was a beautiful weekend project that I would work for Google all week long, doing really fun projects, work with the family, do other things, and then on my off hours, I'd go stand in front of these pieces and work on them and hire another person to work on it. So, yeah, it was probably a 2-year project, but we didn't really know, we didn't know our way out of COVID. And because of that, it was just let's add more visual eye candy to it. So I have to say that I don't know if COVID was ever a blessing, but artistically, it gave me more time to say yes and to this. So good question. Any more questions?
How tall is your studio? Where's the roof line?
It's just about as tall as you, Chuck. So this is Chuck Hall, an amazing artistic mentor of mine. Thank you for being here. When I got the opportunity to land this mural, Chuck said, just hit it out of the park, and you may be one of us extraordinary illustrators if you land this. So, no big deal. These pieces are all 7.5 feet tall. And you all know that a piece of plywood is 4'8". My garage was made for a wagon, so it's 7.5 feet tall in my studio. So the murals that go in the State Library, the murals that go in the Quantum Laboratory are all 7.5 feet tall because of a wagon's height, not because that's how big painting should be. When you're painting on 28 giant panels, and they're all modular, you're constantly holding them out, bang, banging them against the roof, banging them against each other. It was such a fun moment in my studio. I got Alan and Sam over here. These are my roommates during the time. They're all as body doubles. They lived in the room right above my studio, so I was constantly smashing it into their room. And so thank you guys for your patience. Love you guys too. Any other questions? I grew up in Sonora, California. Good question. My mom, Diane Stearns, an amazing mentor of mine and inspiration of mine. I grew up in the country, like I said, and so being from the country, yet living in a metropolis of Oakland, I love that 1 foot in nature and 1 foot in that urban vibe. Always feeling like the outsider, always on tour. Great question. Anyone else? Yeah.
So it sounds like that you're painting these in the studio. Were you ever able to see them all in one long line before they got installed here?
That's a great question. Thank you. The question was I ever able to see them in one long line? And the answer is no. But we do live in a day and age where most of us artists live with our mind maybe digitally and maybe in our traditional media. I'm very good at Photoshop, so as I would find one of these models, I would say, all right, I'll take their picture and throw them into the digital vignette and say, you can fit right here, however they were posed. And so I knew kind of in my mind how it was going to come together, but I was never able to see all the panels together until the very end I had them done. And then I asked my lovely, weird neighbor, who's as tattooed from toe to neck as my paintings look tattooed, if I could lean them against her house. So I could lean them against my neighbor's house so I could see them all together. And so, yeah, this was a very, very constrained, beautiful painting that looks ginormous and landed so perfectly in here. Next question. Over here. Anyone? Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite Easter egg today?
Oh, nice. The question is, what's my favorite Easter egg? Well, one of my absolute favorite moments of this piece, I'm asking people that I know that were dear to me, that I trusted, that were used to my shenanigans of, okay, Forrest, I gotta do what you do and you have another obnoxiously big piece of artwork. I was able to ask my neighbors on my block to be part of this mural. And the woman on the back left is the Eritrean woman who runs the Eritrean restaurant at the end of my block. She's the most wonderful and kind woman, and during the pandemic, she opened up a restaurant to the outside world, and we were all with all the masks on and trying to support local business, and it was so wonderfully awkward. So I put her in the piece, and I said, Abby, you're from Eritrea, you grew up speaking sign language, can I put you in the piece saying a sign that you resonate with? So she said, friendship. And so this is the sign for friendship. You'll see on the piece it goes right up and it says friendship. And so I was like, okay, 5 o'clock, I'm gonna get your picture, light's gonna be good right in front of your spot. I show up and she's wearing that beautiful dress. She got into her Eritrean ceremonial dress, and the light was hitting it so well that it says, let me see if I can read it from here. I gotta get closer. The great food of a healthy neighborhood feeds our wonderful mix of cultures. That's really what I feel about this year, is this really is feeding our wonderful mix of cultures here. Let's be different together and let this be our flag, right? We don't need to all be monotonous. Let's be different together and celebrate that. And I want this mural to really be that. So thank you for that question. And I will probably have a different favorite moment tomorrow. Anyone else? All right, well, thank you so much. I give you all a round of applause for coming.
library